after a time, he began to wander about, going lippity, lippity, not very fast, and looking around. He found a door in the wall, but it was locked, and there was no room for a fat little rabbit to squeeze underneath. An old mouse was running in and out over the stone doorstep, carrying peas and beans to her family in the wood. Peter asked her the way to the gate, but she had such a large pea in her mouth that she couldn't answer. She only shook her head at him. Peter began to cry. Then he tried to find his way straight across the garden, but he became more and more puzzled. Presently he came to a pond where Mr. McGregor filled his watering cans. A white cat was staring at the goldfish. She was very still, but now and then the tip of her tail twitched as if it were alive. Peter thought it were best to go away without speaking to her. He'd heard all about cats from his cousin, little Benjamin Bunny. He went back toward the tool shed, but suddenly, quite close to him, he heard the noise of a hoe. Scritch, scratch, scratch, scritch. Peter scuttered under the bushes. But presently, as nothing had happened, he came out and climbed upon a wheelbarrow and peeped over. The first thing he saw was Mr. McGregor hoeing onions. His back was turned towards Peter, and beyond him was the gate. Peter got down very quietly off the wheelbarrow and started running as fast as he could go along a straight walk behind some black currant bushes. Mr. McGregor caught sight of him at the corner, but Peter didn't care. He slipped under the gate and was safe at last in the woods outside the garden. Mr. McGregor hung up the little blue jacket and the shoes for a scarecrow to frighten the blackbirds and probably to remind Peter. Peter never stopped running nor looked behind him till he went home to the big fir tree. He was so tired that he flopped down on a nice soft sandbank on the floor of the rabbit hole and shut his eyes. His mother was busy cooking. She wondered what he'd done with his clothes. It was the second little pair of jacket and shoes that Peter had lost in 2 weeks. I'm sorry to say that Peter was not very well during the evening. His mother put him to bed and made some chamomile tea and gave a dose of it to Peter. 1 tablespoon to be taken at bedtime. But Flopsy, Mopsy and Cottontail had bread and milk and blackberries for supper. And that's the end of the tale of Peter Rabbit. What do you think of Peter Rabbit? Cheeky little rabbit. There are some rabbits that live down the road here, and I see them hoppity-lippity, and they jump into people's gardens, chomp, chomp, chomp on the pretty flowers. And I think, oh dear, what do you do about that? What do you do about rabbits if they come into your garden? Do you have a garden? Anyway, go on out now, run around, do some rabbit hops, leaping over things and diving under things, and have a lovely afternoon. I'll see you tomorrow. I love you. Bye-bye.